Brandon Aiyuk, according to stories, the Niners are just about fed up with Brandon Aiyuk and how he's acting at practice. So Brandon Aiyuk will never play in his career if he leaves San Francisco with a better offensive coach. Mike Tomlin is not a better coach at getting receivers open. He'll never have more moderate weather, may never have a better roster, may never win 72% of his games. He could go to worse weather, a tougher conference, a worse roster, shakier ownership, don't have the same head coach, double team now on every possession. It's a choice. San Francisco would likely pay him $23 million a year. He wants $26.5. Davante Adams made that choice. From a Hall of Fame quarterback, continuity, winning every Sunday, to the Raiders, the opposite in all of them. Tyreek Hill, remember when he mattered in January and February? Hey, but he got the bag. But he's irrelevant when it matters now. He watches the games like all of us on television. San Francisco, in my opinion, is a top 2 or 3 place in the NFL for a receiver currently. Why? Well, the play-action game's always available because they always have a strong running game. So safeties can't cheat, linebackers can't cheat, always have a good running game. Also, you have a brilliant offensive coach who schemes people open. You ever watch the Rams and wonder, how the hell is Cooper Kupp so wide open? You ever watch the Niners and think, why is George Kittle so wide open? Is he a burner? That's what offensive coaches do. Defensive coaches don't. Also, let's be honest, the Niners, and Aiyuk is part of this, but last year the Steelers were 26th in the NFL. Now think about this. 26th in the National Football League in big plays. San Francisco was 1. Do you think that's all just roster, or do you think the coaches have something to do with it? Also, offensive coaches like McVay, Andy Reid, usually rebuild shaky offensive lines faster or running games faster. Has Tomlin figured out how to create a run game in the last 5 years? Because that's the rumor where he's going, Pittsburgh. Also, with Kyle Shanahan, you often are playing in games where you lead late. You may take some reps off. You're going to get big guaranteed money in both. But it is built for wide receivers. Scheming people open, brilliant head coach, not totally dependent on you, a big run game for play action. It is a choice. But hey, go make $5 million more and live in Cleveland and try to sell that $9 million mansion. Ask LeBron. In San Francisco, you can sell that $8 million house in about 15 minutes. That's all choices. I don't begrudge either. But is your agent telling you, and are the smart people around you telling you, you think it's a coincidence that Puka Nacua, as a 5th-round pick, is a home run with Sean McVay and the Rams, or George Kittle and Jennings for the Niners as 5th and 6th-round picks are incredibly formidable? It's what offensive coaches do. Offensive schemes do. Brandon Aiyuk can make $4 million elsewhere. Go get the bag. I think this is just about as good a place for a receiver to be.
Exactly. Me and Colin see 100% eye to eye on this, and this is what I've been trying to say, and I'm happy that he said it in a lot more direct way, honestly, than I ever could, because, hey, he's Colin Cowherd. But exactly, this is what I keep trying to emphasize, and I don't know why the fans are so resistant to this idea. The fans, for whatever reason, are so cutthroat and so diehard where they're just like, he should be getting all the money that he wants. He deserves all the money. He deserves all the money. He deserves all the money. Stop telling him to take a pay cut. And it's like, I keep trying to emphasize, guys, we do this all the time in our own lives. You don't get everything you ever wanted. Okay? Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a carpenter, whatever, okay? There will always be another opportunity for you to make, I shouldn't say always, but a lot, make more money. But you may have a worse job with worse hours, working with worse people, less freedom and flexibility over your schedule, more intense, whatever it may be. You might have to move and live in a terrible place. Whereas you could maybe take a little bit less money, but you have a little bit more freedom and flexibility. You have a more chill boss. You work with more competent people around you. It's a lot more organized of an operation. It's a larger operation, so there's more stability. You get to live in a nicer area, right? Like those things, we're all faced with those decisions all the time. We don't just pick a job based 100% on money, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be living where you live right now. You would probably have to move somewhere else where you could probably make more money. But then you would have to maybe move away from your family. You'd have to uproot your family. You'd have to work more hours. You'd have to be in charge of the entire program instead of just being supported. It's just different levels to all of these things. Colin Cowherd could make more money working for somewhere else outside of FS1. No doubt about it. He could leverage his success, his following, his resume, and he can make more money working somewhere else. But what FS1 offers him is such, and he's talked about this at length, and he's very honest in that regard. He does not mince words about it. But he's offered stability. He's offered freedom. He understands what Fox can do for him, both from the past and into the present and into the future. He understands that. And those things matter. And for whatever reason, these football players don't. And they want to say, the argument to that is always, well, they have a shorter career, so they should maximize their money. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, go do it. I'm not judging necessarily Aiyuk for saying to try to get the max amount of money that he wants. I'm not. But then it's also equally a decision for the 49ers to say goodbye. If you want that maximum amount of money, then go get it. But then you can't do it with the 49ers. And that's what these people seem to fail to understand, whether it's the players or the fans. Because then they say, well, he shouldn't have to take a pay cut. That's how football works. That's how we keep it competitive. Otherwise, it's just baseball, and you just get the same 3-4 teams dominating year after year after year. I don't want that. And the NFL knows that they don't want that. That's why the salary cap exists. And then there's this misunderstanding, oh, why are they taking pay cuts for the billionaires? The billionaires don't get extra money in that regard. If the 49ers decide not to pay Brandon Aiyuk as much money as he wants, it's not like they get to just pocket that money. The ownership, the GMs, whoever, they don't get to say, oh, great, now we get to have extra money. This is great. That's not how it works. This is monopoly money. That money will go somewhere else. They're just trying to build the best team that they can. And to me, that's what makes it that's what's part of it to be fun. And Aiyuk now is forced to make a decision. Do you want to be in a significantly better historic franchise with a top elite coach, one of the best coaches of this generation, and play for the 49ers, live in the Bay Area? That is what the 49ers can offer. They say, hey, we can offer you these things. You might make a little bit less money, but look what we have to offer you. We have Christian McCaffrey, Debo, and Kittle that will make your life a little bit easier. We can get an offensive line. We do have Shanahan that can scheme you wide open at any moment. We can offer you a team that gets to Super Bowls and NFC championship games consistently. Yes, you maybe can get a little bit more money in Pittsburgh or New England, but they can't offer all of those other things. So if you want that extra money, by all means. But we're offering you a little bit less because we're giving you in other areas. Now, if they couldn't offer that, if the 49ers didn't have Christian McCaffrey and Debo, and Shanahan wasn't the coach, it was just, I don't even know, Nick Sirianni, then they could say, then you can make the argument, well, hey, we can't offer you all this type of stuff, so we actually do kind of have to compensate you. We do have to pay you a little bit more money because we really want you to stay. We need you to stay. That's the difference. The 49ers don't need it. They don't need it. They're in that position of power because they know that they can consistently be good because they've been consistently good. The 49ers will be good with Shanahan whether Brandon Aiyuk is there or not. And to make no mistake about it, I fully believe that Brandon Aiyuk is better with the 49ers. The 49ers are better with Brandon Aiyuk. I am not bashing Aiyuk here. or saying that he's not that good or he's only good because he's with the 49ers. But I've made these statements, gosh, at this point, probably 100 times. Patrick Mahomes is better with Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. He would be a worse quarterback if he was with the Carolina Panthers. And Tyreek Hill is a great example. Tyreek Hill will be a better wide receiver with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And he would be more relevant and matter more, which is what Colin highlighted. And I think that Devontae was a perfect example of that as well. Now, it's not fully fair for Devontae because Colin ripped Aaron Rodgers for why Devontae left, because Aaron Rodgers was the one who's like, I don't know if I'm going to stay or go. And then he's like, and that's why Devontae left, because he was like, well, this is my last big contract. I want to go somewhere more stable. So there is a little bit of a shell game with Colin there that I do want to point out, that it's not just as cut and dry. It's not like Devontae just said, I just want all the money in the world, get me out of here. But he did go to an unstable franchise with an inconsistent owner, with new coaches, new quarterbacks. And Devontae's literally saying, get me out of here. If you saw that video of that, like they literally have him on like a hot mic when, Garoppolo overthrew him. And he's like, I got to get out of here. I'm wasting my time here. That's what happens. I would love to date someone and marry someone who's loaded, who makes tons of money, makes $100 million a year. I would love that. Okay, that would be awesome. And you know what? I could probably, if I was a gold digger, I could probably really date someone and marry someone who I wasn't very attracted to, who doesn't have the greatest personality, but I would be able to date them, marry them, and be financially secure for the rest of my life. But I wouldn't be happy. So I'd rather date someone and marry someone who I actually really love, who I really actually get along with, who I'm truly attracted to, who I really care about. But maybe they can't offer me that free ticket ride to just financial security. I'll actually have to work. I'll actually have to figure out how to pay the bills. I'll have to contribute financially. That's just the decisions that we have to make. It's all about conceding some of these things. It's not, you just don't get 100% of what you want. Yes, in a perfect world, you'd be able to marry someone who's loaded, who's gorgeous, who has perfect health, who just does everything you want, right? That sounds great, but that's not the reality of life. It's not like that in any aspect of life, whether it's professionally, whether you're a professional football player, a professional painter, a doctor, a lawyer, a salesman. You will always have to concede things. Always. There's always a compromise. But for whatever reason, these athletes think that they should have zero compromise. And more often than not, the fans think that as well. And for the life of me, I personally can't make sense of it. I personally struggle with that. And I'm not saying that all these athletes should be taking pay cuts. I'm not. And again, if Aiyuk wants to maximize his money, to make as much money as he possibly can, because he has a short window to do that, I understand that. I even respect it. But then you also have to respect that the 49ers can clearly say, okay, fine, then goodbye. Go get that money. You can't do that with us. We offer something different than what these other places can. Google, Apple, they do not offer the maximum amount of money. That's without a doubt. They are not the highest paying jobs. But what they can offer is insane stability, insane resume building, insane opportunity, insane freedom and flexibility, insane amenities. They don't offer the maximum amount of money. It's not like, oh, if you work for YouTube, or if you work for Google, if you work for Apple, you are making more money than any other developer ever. You want to make more money than ever? Okay, then move to China. Seriously, go move to China. Go get a job in, North Korea, in Russia. You can probably make a lot more money there. They would love to have, a super elite Harvard graduate developer, software engineer. You could definitely make more money. I know for a fact you can. But then you got to go move over there. As my camera goes out. Because I talked bad about those other countries, I guess, and now, big tech doesn't want you there. I'm just having camera issues. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that Aiyuk should want to just stay with the 49ers? Or do you think that, no, he needs to just get his money and it doesn't matter where he goes? That's just life. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.